Alright, I'm finally back in the chat. I have my master list up. I'm good.
Oh, perfect time.
You were a problem child, been grounded your whole life, so now you running wild. Playing with them good girls, no, that ain't your style.
Welcome to Stab Comedy Theater, virtually. Welcome to the Suzette Veneti Show. Please welcome to your screen, as soon as I can scroll to the right thing, there it is. Please welcome to your screen, Suzette Veneti.
Hi. Hey everybody, welcome to the Suzette Veneti Show. It's May 10th, it's 7:10 p.m., it's a Sunday. So there's your weekly check, now you know what day it is. So whatever day your garbage day is, act accordingly. Today's Sunday. Okay, cool, let's get started with the show. We have a great show for you tonight. It's a little bit tighter show, but it's some good guests and some good contributors. So I'm gonna start off with the monologue. Just don't tune out if the jokes aren't that good, because everyone else after me is good. Okay, here we go. In the news this week, Vice President Pence was caught on a hot mic bringing in supplies to a hospital and complaining and saying he wanted empty boxes. And when he was reached for comment about being caught on a hot mic, he said, "Geez, I wish I was." Yeah, that's where the rim shot would have gone, which is what the vice president would say. Anyway, I found out that my ex and my ex's lawyer watched the show. So I just want to make sure to tell them and everyone else watching, go ahead and subscribe to the show, hit that like button, go ahead and share the link, and hit that Venmo for everybody on the show. Drop that coin. Maybe they won't do it for me because there's alimony, but for all the contributors, go ahead and hit that Venmo, lawyer. Okay, cool. New season of Dead to Me came out on Netflix, and I just wanted to remind everybody that Dead to Me is about a widower. It's not about your uncle who thinks that the coronavirus is a hoax. And 5G. Also new on Netflix this month, Jerry Seinfeld, 23 Hours to Kill. It's his new Netflix comedy special. 23 Hours to Kill is not about what happens to the protesters that congregate and gather around the Capitol steps from getting coronavirus and dying. Also new on Netflix, Restaurants on the Edge, Season 2. That name was probably a lot better before all the restaurants had to shut down to coronavirus. They should have thought about that. Good luck, restaurants. Also new on Netflix, The House at the End of the Street. It's a horror film, but now The House on the End of the Street is a real-life horror film because they keep having parties, and they won't socially distance. Also new to Netflix this month, Grey's Anatomy Season 16, and I just want to say, if COVID-19 doesn't bring back Yang, nothing will. Give up hope, guys. Yang's not coming back. And finally, new on Netflix this month, Working Moms, and they wish, really. They'd love to get out of their house at this point. They'd love to be working moms again. And that is my monologue for the week. Not a lot in the news. I'm going to go right into our contributors, yeah, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You can catch him digitally in the meantime, which is his show. And when all this is over, make sure you catch him in person. He's a great social media follow. He's a great comic. One of my favorite, Northern California's own, Mean Dave.
Hello, am I on?
You are. Hey.
Hey, everybody. Right on. Happy Mother's Day. That's today. So if anybody's a mom who is watching this, trying to avoid their children and looking for the best way to keep their kids away by putting live local comedy on their laptops or whatever, that's a good child deterrent. But it's nice. It's good to see you. Have you talked to your mom today, Suzette?
I did. I called her in Pittsburgh.
You called her?
Yep.
And how's she doing?
She's well.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm gonna take the moment. So happy Mother's Day, Mom, and to my sister. She's a mom too. Thanks.
I loved how sincere that sounded, Suzette. That was good.
Yeah.
What was it? No, I got two of them. They're in the photos right here that I got in my background here. The one smiling more, the one whose eyes you can see, that's my birth mother. That's the one whose womb I came out of. And the one with the sunglasses on, it looks like she's in witness protection. That's my stepmom. and she's also like very much a good big part of my life. So it sucks having two moms though. Not in the I mean, it's good, it's an abundance of love and all that stuff, but just more or less it's added. I've there's been times where I've been really grateful for this quarantine, and Mother's Day is one of them, because there is no way that I am going to go to any of their places. My biological mom lives in Ukiah, which is where you go to if you want no one to visit you ever again.
Totally.
And my stepmom lives in Pleasanton on Castlewood Golf Course, which is at least 3 forms of public transportation and either an Uber ride, or they got to pick me up from BART to get up to the golf course where they live. So there's no way I'm getting over there. And not only that, I'm not even supposed to, because they're both in their 60s. This is a quarantine. We need to protect the aged people right now. So I don't want to, and I'm not mailing them anything, because you never know if the Rona's going through the mail. So I have got all bases covered on not having to get them shit for Mother's Day. So it's been wonderful. I love them both. That's why I just saw my mom in a Zoom show right before this one, and we let her participate. So we got to make her feel like she was doing something, and that's her Mother's Day gift. And the other one I sent a text, and I left a message I tried calling her, all right, because the stepmom one, you know, they're technically rich people. They weren't rich when I was growing up. That was the thing. Whenever I hate bringing people over to my dad and my stepmom's place, because every time somebody comes with me over there, they're like, "Oh, this must be where you grew up," and I'm like, "No, they got all this shit when I was in my 20s." Or you know, my dad, when I was a kid, my mom and my dad, they had. I don't even know how these two fucking had sex, let alone got married. Whatever. They didn't get along, and I didn't understand even how it worked out. But it was, as I got older, I started to see the dynamic. You know, they were high school sweethearts, but not really. I think my dad was just such an overbearing personality that my mom just didn't want to tell him no, and it seemed to kind of go along with what was going on. And then they stayed together into their 20s. They got married. But it was like my mom's mom didn't even want them to get married or whatever. And so I was born in 1976, and basically all I remember was I don't remember too many good times. I remember a lot of arguments and a lot of tension. And they ended up divorcing when I was 5. They separated, and then they got the divorce throughout between 5 and 7. Then my stepdad came into play, the guy who's my stepdad now. And he kind of came into my life, and he was like a calming way. My dad ended up declaring bankruptcy. He was an alcoholic, active alcoholic at the time. And so he was hitting his rock bottom. And we didn't get along as I got into my teenage years. But I have a lot of respect for my father. And it was also my mother who maintained that made it important that she said, it's important that you have a relationship with your father. Here's where I salute my mother and my stepmom, and both, because my dad was an impossible person at that time. He used to accuse my mom of trying to turn us against him, which was complete bullshit. Because she not only she never asked for more child support than like the lowest, even as my dad started making more money. If you ever get divorced from a woman, you better hope it's someone like my mother. And best woman you could ever divorce. And he was just one of those things. He was just paranoid of her. And she just said, you need to maintain, your dad loves you, even though he's fucked in the head right now. And so, you'll appreciate it later, I'm sure. And so that's kind of what happened. And then my stepmom came into my dad's life, and she was living in an apartment. My dad was like, couch surfing and, having different hookups to stay over or whatever. She was the one he settled with. And then in the end, she was, again, a calming, like, as soon as we met her, we're like, oh, you're cool. Like, yeah, we'll stick with you. And that's when my stepsister, my soon-to-be stepsister showed up. And my dad just mellowed out. And then my dad started, after he, tried to cheat taxes and whatever other bullshit that made him bankrupt, he then started getting back into his insurance business, started building himself back up. and that was when I was like in junior high into high school, and his business, and then he started his own business. He spun off, stole a lot of business from his previous employer along with a partner, and basically created the company that has now made him a millionaire, or I don't know how much money he's got. I don't ask those questions. I hate rich people, but I love my father, and he's now a highly successful person today, and believe me, it comes in handy. So that shit's all great. But at the same time, I remember my dad. I remember I asked him, because he hates the fact that I'm on like I collect EBT. It's like that I actually sell. Like, he looks at me and he's like, why aren't you trying to be like me? And I'm like, because it sucks being you. You see yourself and you got all this. I subscribe to the notorious B.I.G.'s philosophy of mo money, mo problems, and I see his life, and it's just a bunch of fucking headaches. You got to decide with this, that, and the other. Me, I'm like, I just love Melvin's concerts and Marvel movies, and if I can pay my bills, that's really all I need. And so I don't relate to all that shit. But every now and then, I get a free breakfast. He takes me to breakfast, and that's always a plus. So it's handy to have a rich dad for that shit. And it's nice. He lives in a nice house. It's nice to visit. I'll go in his den and watch cable, go watch all his movie channels and stuff. And that was all thanks to my stepmom, because she's the anchor that, and also just basically she put the smack down on my dad. Just to some about, I thought she was Italian. Turns out she's German.
Oh,
so it's weird. Yeah, I always thought she's from New York. I like it too. She's one of those soft-spoken New Yorkers that but when she's pissed off, then you see the New York. And
what's her name?
I've only had to see the pissed off New York once in my life, and that was after my dad came home drunk, and I said, "You need to go to bed, Dad," and I directed him to their bedroom, and that was when she was mad at me. And there was another time she was mad at me too, because I was making fun of my stepsisters. But that's neither here nor there. So beyond that, I think I've talked enough. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I hope you have moms like me, and if you need one, I'll happily lease one out to you for a good price, because I need some money. And if you have the funds, which is not one of your audience members has ever donated shit, and I'm happy to guilt them for it by now, Suzette. But if they can, they are welcome to Venmo at mean-dave-225. Never hurts to try and pitch it anyway. You never fucking know. And check out In the Meantime with Mean Dave, if at the very least, because I know you're broke and you have time on your hands. If you're a Suzette Veneti show audience, go on YouTube, and you're welcome to check out for free In the Meantime with Mean Dave on YouTube. So enjoy it.
Thanks,
That's
Mean
it.
Dave. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, what were your mom's names?
What were? They're not dead. They're still alive.
Well, that's fair.
No,
That's a good point. What are your mom's names?
I'll bring them back up here. The biological one is Rebecca. That's the one I'm standing with, headless.
Oh,
You see
Happy Mother's Day, Rebecca.
That's Rebecca, and then that's Victoria.
Happy Mother's Day, German Vicky.
Yeah, German. Well, you know you call it German. Vicky,
No, but I mean, as an Italian, I wanted to make sure.
Makes it sound,
Oh yeah.
Nazis and shit.
Oh
but
yeah.
not-
No, I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day, Vicky.
Well, I mean, Iron Fist. That's the thing. She's a benevolent ruler. She like I said, she. That's the thing. My stepmom. That's just something about her. She has the calming influence. She will kill you with kindness, and literally you can feel like if you cross that kindness, she will kill you. And that's what kept my dad in line for years, and still to this very day. And that's the thing. They were my mom, my dad, horrible together. They then remarried successfully in very loving marriages after they fucked me up. So that's so I get to kind of resent them through life, and that's what I say. I'm glad my dad's my mom, my stepdad. They're good working class. They're not rich, but they're working class, doing well for themselves. And it's nice to see them well, because then I get to mooch off them for life, because they owe me that fucking much.
Well, right on. Happy Mother's Day to them, and Happy Mother's Day to you, in a way.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I mean, I'm not a mom, but you know,
No,
you got a
but-
mom on one. Chelsea, I'm gonna say hi to Chelsea. So yeah, happy Mother's Day to Chelsea, and say hi to your mom, Liz. Happy Mother's Day to your mom too, Liz. Tell her that. So
Cool. Well, thanks,
Yeah.
Mean Dave. Hopefully,
Thank
some
you.
of the audience, maybe my ex's attorney, hopefully someone hits you up on Venmo.
I hope they get jobs. I hope they get some fucking jobs and get some fucking Venmo. That's all.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
it's $5. It'll help. Anything helps.
attorneys are good right now, so the least he can do, since he says mean things about
I'm
me, is
just giving
Venmo
them
you.
shit, you know.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, he should Venmo you.
Yeah.
He watches the show, so
Who does? Who's this?
my ex's attorney.
Oh, your ex's attorney? Yeah,
Mhm.
ex-attorney. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Here, we'll throw it up again. And fucking Better Call Saul, all right? So get a little extra dollars in there, motherfucker. All right.
All right, thanks, Mean Dave.
Thank you.
I'll see you next week. Love you.
See you next week. Love you too.
All right, that was Mean Dave. Make sure you hit his Venmo. It was on the screen. You guys have it. If you don't, we're doing this for free. But if you have $1 even, go ahead and hit Mean Dave and the rest of my guests with some coin. And with that, we're going to go to a new segment. I don't know what it's called yet, but I love this comedian. And are we almost ready? We are. I love her in person. I love her virtually. She hosts trivia twice a week. You can order a cake from her. When all this is over, make sure you see her live. And she does 17 million things, so make sure you find her somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, peers and queers, Chelsea Bearce.
Hi!
Hi, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you!
Yeah. Chelsea's my comedy mom, guys. So, I mean that.
Well, don't tell people that. Hi, guys. Hello. Yes. So Suzette asked me to do a segment, and I was like, what's something that I'm passionate about? And we touched on this the last time I was on your show.
We did.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Was that 2 weeks ago when I was on here? I
Two.
don't know. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
Right. There's no time in COVID world.
I know, it's true. Nothing makes sense. But last time I was on the show, we touched on the subject of karaoke. Are you aware of this? Do you remember this?
I do. You were
blacked
actually.
out?
I was like, "Hey, that sounds like a good segment." Because the question I asked was, "What's your favorite karaoke song?" And you started with.
I know, and
Yeah.
but that's a loaded question for someone like me. So I'm going to tell you, this segment of today, guys, is about karaoke and karaoke etiquette. Okay, it's very important, and you need to write this down. Okay, it's very, very important. Okay. But first, let me tell you why I have the merit to talk about this, okay? Because I'm a karaoke enthusiast. I'm obsessed with karaoke. I've been on multiple leagues, and I have trophies from Do you know this about me, Suzette? This is legit. I have trophies on my mantle
I do.
right now.
I just didn't know. I knew you were in a karaoke league, but I forget that there's such a thing as a karaoke league until you say it.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yes,
like,
we
why would there
competed-
a karaoke league? But like, you have trophies. I've seen the trophies on your mantle in person.
Thank you. I know
Mm-hmm.
they're very impressive. So there was a karaoke league in New York, and we would compete with like themes, and we would have costumes, and we would have props and all this stuff. It was a very, very big deal, and we got multiple. I got multiple awards from it. It was phenomenal. I've also competed in multiple contests. And I've won over $3,000 in my life singing karaoke. This is a legit statement that I'm making right now. I know. It's so good. It's so good. So anyway, when people ask me what my favorite go-to karaoke song is, there's many things that go into this selection, okay? I know that everyone is so riveted right now. They're on their edge of their fucking seats. This is a big deal. Okay, so when you go into a bar and there's karaoke happening, you have to assess the crowd. You have to know your audience. I can't go into a biker bar where people are wearing Harley shirts or what I don't know. I can't go into a Mean Dave bar. Let's say that.
Okay.
A Mean Dave bar. It's fine, Mean Dave. It's fine. I can see him. It's fine. I'm just saying, I can't go into there and sing a Broadway tune because I will get lynched. Like, you can't do that, okay? Stop making faces.
Well, it was
So
just.
you
Yeah.
have to know your audience, okay? You have to know your audience. If I go into a gay club,
Mhm.
okay, a gay bar,
Mhm.
I have to look around. I'll listen to a couple of songs, see what the audience likes, see what they're into, and then I'll make my selection off of that. You hear me? You understand where I'm going? Do you
I
have any
do.
questions so far?
No,
Go.
like Christian rock would be bad in a gay bar. And a Broadway tune would be bad in a in a bar full of Mean Daves.
Christian rock would be bad anywhere, but yes.
Agreed.
Yes, whatever you say, yes. So first of all, you have to know your audience, okay? Secondly, you have to sing your first song. Your first song has to be something that you destroy. You have to tear the roof off of the fucking building with this first song, because then you will set the stage and everyone will know when you come to the mic to shut the fuck up and respect you. Do you hear me?
Yes, I didn't know that there was an intimidation tactic with karaoke.
Oh no, in everything that you do. So you have to choose a very, very strong song, go in with, set the bar ridiculously high, okay?
Okay.
Set the bar high, and then you can go anywhere, because they'll see you come up to the stage and they're like, oh shit, yo, I heard her before. Sit down, buckle your seatbelts, this is gonna get good. That's what you want people to do, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And then lastly, what you want to do is you want to choose your first song. You want to choose one that has a very catchy, very recognizable intro, so that you get the audience involved first, because they're like, oh shit, I love this song. Oh my God, is she going to sing this? She's not going to sing this. Is she going to be good? All of this goes into before you even sing your first fucking note. Do you have all those written down? Do you want me to go through it again? Do we have time? I'm not doing that. I have a show. Those are the three main components before you even get to the fucking mic. Okay? Yes?
Yes.
Suzette, do you have a go-to karaoke song that you have?
No, because I can't really sing. So, I mean, that's a whole different thing, is like finding a song that fits your vocal abilities.
Yeah. So for people that but you enjoy karaoke, are you a karaoke enthusiast? Like, will you go to a karaoke bar or karaoke, like, night?
I would go with you.
That's a very good answer.
Yeah. I'm not going to go without you.
Fine. And it's fine. If you can't sing, that's awesome. There are plenty of selections for people that can't sing. There's selections that have, like, people talking. You can sing Tequila by the Champs. You can, like, these are songs that you can sing that will get people excited, but you don't have to do anything, and you'll fool the crowd because you're like, yo, I don't have an ounce of talent like you, Suzette. And then the crowd will still love you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a perfect time for a sip of drink. Awesome. I see you, bitch. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my three suggestions for how you choose a karaoke song. So what I have done is I have chosen one of my go-tos, and I'm gonna sing this for Mean Dave because he's one of my favorite people on the planet. And I'm just gonna sing the first part of it, so that, I mean, I don't want to steal this show from you. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with that.
Appreciate it.
But I'm gonna sing like the first minute of the song, and I'm gonna show you. Basically, this is one of my go-tos. Especially if I'm in a gay bar, or if I'm in just a fun, super fun, like 80s, 90s, I've heard those songs being played. I know this crowd will appreciate this. Okay?
Okay,
Are you
I'm
ready?
ready. I'm ready.
Okay, here it goes. Okay. You hear that?
I
Fun
do.
intro.
I do.
Recognizable.
Yep.
Oh my God! Is she gonna sing this? I love this song!
You're gonna sing this?
Oh my God! My baby, he don't talk sweet. He ain't got much to say. But he loves me, loves me, loves me. I know that he loves me anyway. And maybe he don't dress fine, but I don't really mind. 'Cause every time he pulls me near, I just wanna cheer. Let's hear it for the boy. Let's give the boy a hand, yeah. Let's hear it for my baby. You know you gotta understand, yeah. Whoa, maybe he's no Romeo, but he's my loving one-man show. Oh, 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 let's hear it for the boy. There you go. That was for Mean Day. So, there you go. That's my karaoke segment. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Is it always going to be karaoke, or are we going to mix up what your segment is?
I don't know. I'll decide the day up. You can't put a leash on me.
No, I don't think we can. But we just so like 10 minutes with Chelsea. Like I don't know.
I don't know. We'll figure out.
We'll
a name
figure it
later.
out.
Let's
Okay,
not
cool.
put that on the air.
Well,
Okay. Yeah.
hey, happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to your mom.
Thank
And
you.
I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week, bitch. Love you.
Love you too. Okay, guys, that was Chelsea Bearce. Make sure you follow her on social media. Hit up her Venmo. She's going to contribute to the show, and the show is better off for it. And with that, I think we're ready to do an interview. We're gonna go with Ben. Okay, cool. So the next interview guest is the newly elected Emperor of Sacramento, drag king, peers and queers. Give it up for Ben Flicker.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all right. How are you, Ben?
I am good. I'm in a weird spot right now, and I'm actually becoming surrounded by some angry killdeer birds.
Some birds?
Yeah, little
Oh,
killdeers.
Okay,
They're
cool.
surrounding the car.
I just got nervous when you said angry, and I was like, are people around you? Where are you parked?
Oh,
You
no.
should move. Drive away. How are you doing? Beside being surrounded by angry birds.
Really good. Really
Excellent. Thank you for driving out into the great wide open to get a connection for us today. I'll go ahead and say that you messaged me, and I'll tell the audience that's why you're in your car, because you were having internet problems, and so you wanted to be on the show. So thank you for making it work. Also,
No problem.
I will go ahead and say to everybody that your Venmo, you're going to be donating it to the court that you're the emperor of, CGNIE. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what CGNIE is?
Well, CGNE stands for the Court of the Great Northwest Imperial Empire. We're part of the imperial court system, which is everywhere. I mean, we're in the U.S., we're in Mexico, we're in Canada.
So
We're
international.
a large, I'm sorry,
International.
yes. And we are a 501c3 that raises money, fundraises, and donates to a whole lot of other 501c3s that are in need.
Right on. What are some past examples of some of the charities?
Locally for Sacramento, we've done Front Street Animal Shelter, we've done the LGBT Center, we've done Lavender Library, AIDS Life Cycle. There's a long list. We've been doing this now going into 47 years.
Right on. 47 years is a long time. You don't look 47, so you must not have been emperor for all 47 years. You've just been emperor for what, a week now, right?
About a week.
And what does an emperor do?
Well, I get to travel for one. We go to other locations and courts. We take part in their fundraisers sometimes, or their coronations. I'll be hosting events locally here, doing fundraising events of a large variety. And that's the gist of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a step up from the Mr. Gay position as far as responsibilities, but
Right, and
it's a good
you,
deal.
so you referenced that you were Mr. Gay last year. So you just started. I'm gonna get ahead of myself in my questions here, so we'll come back to this. But you just started drag, what, 17, 19 months ago?
Pretty much October of 2018. So
Okay, so that's 19 months ago, and you pretty quickly were elected Mr. Gay Sacramento, right? And now you're Emperor of Sacramento.
yes, that was a pageant.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to come back to that. I want to finish up my questions about the court really quick, so I don't get too out, because blonde, get out of order really easily. How can the public learn more and get involved with CGNIE if they want to know more about the Court of Sacramento or be more involved?
First and foremost, if anybody ever wants to approach me, I'd love to talk to people about it when we're back out and about. In the meantime, you can go to cgnie.org. We have a Facebook page. Well, actually be putting up the Our New Reigns page soon. You can go to the Imperial Court system and get an idea of what we're doing everywhere. You can reach out to any of the other court members. Our newly elected Empress is Do Me More. Everybody knows her for drag queen bingo. So yeah, anybody you want to talk to, we can all help you, or you can just find us on one of those websites.
Right on. And what sorts of events do you think people can look forward to once everything goes back to normal? Like, what sort of events does CGNIE put on?
You know what? We put on anything from bake sales to drag shows. Again, our coronation. There may be a barbecue. We're to get out and do more outdoor events. So maybe it'll be, car washes or softball or anything and everything right now. It's kind of the sky's the limit we've been
Right on.
talking lately.
So we mentioned that you were Mr. Gay, and just in case anyone watching doesn't understand, you're a drag king, which is not a drag queen. Similar but different. Why don't you tell the audience about being a drag king? Oh,
I think I lost sound on you for a second.
okay. Tell the audience what is a drag king? Tell them about being a drag king.
Drag king is basically what drag queen is, but it's either going to be a female or it might be a male, but we all do basically male impressions. So for me, I go to the full extent that I can to do my own personal look of what I would figure I would look like as a man, picking all my songs to groups that I've grown up with and look up to, such as having Queen and Freddie Mercury and different country songs that I think we know about. But it's somebody who gets to share their artistic ideas and thoughts and feelings in a different way.
Right on. So if any woman or any man wants to be a drag king, they can be a drag king. Right. And I have to say, I am so glad that you're a drag king, because sometimes there's a song I want to do and it's a duet, and I love doing duets with you personally. So
I definitely love our duets.
You have been to the Austin Drag Fest. What was that like?
Oh, that's incredible. That's actually, we've gone 2 years in a row. The first year was just as observers because we hadn't actually started drag yet. But this last year I got to perform, and it is mind blowing. You're up there with drag queens and kings and all the in-betweens from everywhere. I mean, as far out as even like Tel Aviv.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody comes out there. So it is a big party, but it's also a great way to connect and meet people who you followed for a long time. And then all of a sudden you get to actually be right there tipping them and them tipping you. And it's mind blowing.
Right on. Are there any other festivals like that around that people can go to that are closer to them if Austin isn't close to them?
Actually, Fresno has started up a drag festival. They're trying to get that one launched off and going more.
Okay.
So they actually had to postpone this one, but if you just follow them, Fresno Drag Festival, they'll be announcing new dates for that. And then really past that, it would just be, I guess, any Pride events you go to, Pride after parties or the drag shows going on. That's kind of the other part of the spectrum.
Well, I think it's about time something happens in Fresno, like anything. So drag festival would be, the first thing to happen in Fresno? So that'd be great. So like we said, we touched on, you've been doing drag for 19 months, but you didn't go into that day, your first day of drag, you didn't go into that day expecting to do drag that day. Do you want to go back and tell us about your first performance in drag?
Okay, so that was the Closet Ball in October 2018. That's another CGNIE event that's put on every year. I was actually going with my partner, who's Justin Timbersnake, another drag king. We were on our drive down there, and they got a message that one of the other people's contestants dropped out and they needed somebody. So I was like, well, I'll be there, and I've been wanting to do this anyway, so tell them I'll do it. And they said, okay. So that kind of rolled it out that night.
Right on. So you were kind of just a last minute contestant, and how'd you do?
I had a good time.
You had a good time. Yeah.
But there was a lot of money raised.
Mhm.
It was scary. It was so scary. But yeah, it was a really good time. And that night I got to meet a lot of people for the first time, and started making some new friends and connections right then and there.
Yeah, I was there. I don't think we met that night though, but
We did not.
right. So then so that's the Closet Ball. So what's the Closet Ball, in case anybody wants to know more about that?
So Closet Ball, they'll take drag kings and queens, and they'll assign them a person who has never done drag before, who's wanted to do drag. And then the king or queen will take that person, the contestant, they'll put them in drag, they'll help them pick a song, and then they have a full scale like pageant competition for that night. And they go through like their introduction and outfit, then they do a lip sync, and they might do a talent, and then they judge and pick a winner at the end.
Right on.
Yeah.
So if people want to know more about that, they can certainly look up the Closet Ball in Sacramento.
Yes.
So then, but that's not how you became Mr. Gay. What was that?
No.
What was that? What was that show or pageant or competition?
So that was we have our LGBT pageant now. That is where we had contestants for Mr. Gay. This last year we didn't actually have anybody for Miss Gay, but we opened up also to have Mr. Queer, which was won by Leslie West. And what else? I'm trying to think. That was it. Yeah, so just they run that pageant. Again, that was something we were supposed to do this year, and it had to be postponed for the time being. But once everything's up and running, I'm sure we'll be launching that again, and hopefully be seeing a whole lot of interest in contestants this time.
Sure, and any people can enter to be Miss Gay or Mr. Gay or Mr. Queer or Miss Queer. So that's something people can look into doing if they're interested.
For everyone. We're opened up. We wanna see people get involved. We want to get more people involved in the court, because it's such a great organization to be with.
I agree. I think it is. Let's see. And when all this is over, is there an event that you're looking forward to? I mean, it's hard to say because we don't know when this will be over, when this will be canceled, but is there something you know is going to happen either this year or next year that you just can't wait to go to?
You know what? Gosh. Last year was a lot of events, a lot of travel. So I guess, there's not one specific one. I love doing locally our Christmas in July event. I love the Halloween event, Doomie's birthday show. All of these were just fun, super fun. And we raised a lot of money. Also, then just getting to go to out-of-town coronations again and getting to see members of the other courts and how they're doing, and congratulate them on all the hard work they've been putting in.
Awesome. I hope that this is over before those events, so you can go, so other people can look into these and go. Again, this is a difficult question because we don't know when this will be over, but you were in the Closet Ball, you were Mr. Gay, now you're the Emperor of Sacramento. The only logical next step I can think of is President of the United States. Is there something else that you're going to try to hit before that?
I don't know, maybe maybe finding somebody to just go on tour with for duets.
Oh, well, I mean, hi. Me. Okay, cool. I have a viewer question from Taryn in Sacramento. Taryn would like to tell me about your kids.
Oh, my kids. So we have Alexandria.
Oh
and
no,
Maxine.
she was specific.
Oh.
She meant the goats.
Oh, you want those kids?
Those kids. I mean, you can talk
Lucifer,
about your other
Loki, and
kids
Lilith.
too, but I think Taryn's question was specifically about the furry, horned kids.
The furry horned kids.
Hmm.
Okay, so yes, we've got dairy goats. The three kids in particular are Loki, Lucifer, and Lilith.
Okay. Do you have a favorite? Is it okay to have if they're goats, if they're goat kids? Well, child goats are kids. So if they're baby goats, child goats,
Yeah.
is it okay to have a favorite? Because like with your real kids, you probably don't want to admit, even though like I know my parents have a favorite. Is it okay to have a favorite goat kid?
I think so. I definitely think so.
And which one is yours?
Lucifer.
Mm. That sounds like he should.
He's crazy.
Although Loki could have been, he could have been right there, but Lucifer wins.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Are you ready to do rapid fire questions?
Okay.
Okay. Let me get my computer. There we go. All right. What is your favorite thing about the concept of brunch?
My favorite thing about the concept of grunge,
Mm-hmm.
that it got me through my teenage years. I mean, my childhood and my teenage years. It explained everything that I was feeling.
That's a really awesome answer. Is there a drag name that you didn't end up using?
Yeah, at Closet Ball, it was Makopinafilski.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you have a favorite wig color?
Oh, favorite wig color. I
Mhm.
like blue.
Blue. Do your wigs do they have names?
Wig?
Yeah.
Named wigs? No.
Okay. I don't name mine either, but some people do, and that's always interesting.
Interesting.
What is your favorite song to perform to?
It's my Queen mix.
Yeah. What's in the Queen mix?
It is a medley of Another One Bites the Dust, Bohemian Rhapsody, We Are the Champions.
All good
and
songs.
one more.
I always wish I could do Queen songs, but right on.
Do 'em. I bet you there's some versions out there you could find.
Oh, I did get a note in Facebook, and it's correct. You don't have to be in drag to be elected emperor or empress. So I just wanted to get that out really
Right.
quick. So thank you, Pockets at home watching, and he mentioned that. So sorry to interrupt the questions, but to be a good interviewer, I should make sure I say that. Okay, back to rapid fire questions. Queen is your favorite song, any Queen song. What's your favorite show or venue to perform in?
Oh my gosh. You know what? Capitol Garage was a lot of fun, and all of our Badlands After Hours shows, those are always a blast.
Right on. After Hours on Monday nights. It's an amateur drag show where anyone can join. It doesn't just have
Yep.
amateurs, it has everybody, but everyone can join. What is the funniest thing an audience member has ever said to you after a show?
You look like my dad.
Okay. Do you cook or bake?
Yes, I cook.
Cook. A cooker. Okay. Toilet paper. Over or under?
Over.
If somebody is buying drinks for us at the bar, what are they?
Probably an O'Doul's and some kind of margarita. Mm-hmm.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just drinking whatever you were drinking in this case. I'm a Cosmo girl,
Oh.
but I can go duels. We'll just make it easy on whoever's buying. Do you have a favorite drag queen?
You know what? I do not. I have a whole bunch of them that I have high love and respect for, each for their own different things. So there would be no way to pick a favorite.
It's easy to pick a goat, but not a queen. Do you have a favorite?
Yep.
Similar question. Do you have a favorite drag king?
Oh shoot. You know what? I love my Justin Timber Snake.
That's a really good answer, and that also means you can go home after this interview's over. If you were a Disney prince, which prince would you be?
I'm not sure I know really any of them.
That's okay. Should we go next question?
Yeah. Next
Okay.
question.
All right. I won't ask which Disney princess I would be because you're not into Disney. But I don't ask this of every guest because I'm scared they'll say no. Do you think I'm pretty?
I think you are
Okay.
beautiful.
Thank you. And then finally, what are you most excited to do when COVID world is over and the quarantine is lifted? What are you looking forward to doing?
Hug.
Yeah,
Lots of hugs.
right on. That's my interview. Is there anything else you wanted to mention that I didn't get to?
No, I think that was pretty thorough.
I think so. Tell everyone what CGNIE stands for.
Court of the Great Northwest Imperial Empire.
That's why there's an abbreviation.
Yes.
But that's what it stands for if they want to look it up, and they can find more information about you or the court there, and they can approach you in person when all this is over and learn more. Thank you so much for coming on today and telling us a little bit about you and the court and just spending some time with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. I'll send you a message after the show.
Sounds good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Drive safe and be careful of the murdering birds, angry birds. I don't
The killer killdeers.
kill. Yeah, I don't even know what that is, but I'm still catching up on murder hornets. So be careful of all the birds and hornets and everything out there in the country.
Oh yes.
Okay. Love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. That was Ben Flicker, everybody. And like he said, you can catch him on social media. You can learn more about the court and about Ben. And I'm just going to keep the show going, and we're going to go with my next guest, who in person, she's an amazing comic. Opens up for Vicky Barbalack, performs at Cobb's and Punchline San Francisco, among other places. She goes on the road, and right now during COVID world, she has a Zoom show she does, and she's a really fantastic Facebook follow, and follow her on all the social media because she's a good follow everywhere. Everybody, Liz Stone. Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm all right. Hot, but because I wore a long sleeve dress, but whatever.
Hang in there.
Yeah.
Mean Dave, my mom will be so happy to hear from you. Mean Dave is my mom's favorite comic. And tell your mom I say Happy Mother's Day. I love her.
What, Liz? What's your mom's name?
My mom is Margie. It's also her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Margie! Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, so we had a Zoom party with our family because my brother's in London. Like a bunch of us in different parts of California. My parents are in Boston, so we had a Zoom party. My mom jumped on with her cocktail and was having a good time.
Right on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You have cats.
I have 2 cats, so it is my Mother's Day for Whiskey Campari.
I was gonna say, so is it Mother's Day for you too?
It is. It's a big day in my household.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
So we talked about you when Chelsea was the interview guest. You came up because she made a cake.
Chelsea made my divorce cake.
Yes.
And she really underplayed this cake because it was a very therapeutic item in my divorce.
How so?
So the background of the cake is that my ex, we basically kind of ultimately what spurred us breaking up is he couldn't get it up around me, and he was definitely not attracted to me. And so me and Davis heard this so many times. He's like, I know. She told me for a year. And
Just so the audience knows, because they can't see me and Dave. He's still in.
I see. Okay, got it.
That's okay. He's still in our virtual green room, and he's hanging out and watching. So he's
Okay,
here
yeah,
too.
I thought we were all talking. Got it.
Oh, yeah,
So,
sorry.
Yeah, they're like, wow, she's really obsessed with me and Dave. So,
They're like, maybe that's why she got divorced.
like, yeah. I love that we can just get on this interview and start making up rumors. This is excellent. Quarantine rumors.
Right.
So, we broke up like very abruptly, and he's like, well, this is because I have depression and I need to work on my depression. And then he moved out and started boning everything that moves, which I guess is fine, but I didn't know. But what he did is he used my Apple TV. Like, he set it up so it was his account, and he used Apple TV to stream screenshots of sex messages with a girl to my living room TV. So not too long after we broke up, the day after Christmas, I came home by myself from a show, and I turned on my TV, and there were all these really graphic sex messages like right up on my TV, and it was horror. And I knew right away. I was like, this is on purpose. Like, he's the one who set all of this up, and he wants me to know that I was the problem. And so it was like really traumatic. And there was like a lot of them. It was like really graphic. And then, I mean, I was like kind of traumatized, but eventually I sent an email to him with the pictures of him, and was like, told him how bad he was at sexting and all this stuff. It was a mess. And then he sent pictures of an entire trip to Vegas with another girl to my TV, like videos of her doing karaoke, them in their hotel room together. And then he sent a picture of him and that girl on a date at Cobb's Comedy Club for Sketchfest. And I was like, you have to be fucking kidding. And I was so traumatized, I started talking about the screenshots on stage right away. And I don't, like, the whole story is not in the bit, but I have a bit about finding screenshots and making fun of him for being bad at sexting and this whole thing. And I was like, I'm gonna work every club. Like, you're never gonna want to go on a date to a comedy club ever again. Like, if this is the last thing I do before I die, is gonna be, I do it comedy enough places, and eventually someone you know is gonna see this. They're gonna know what you did. And like, but I thought that was like 5 years out or something. And what happened is, when we got the divorce finalized, I saw Chelsea at a show like a month beforehand, and I was like, hey, could you make me a divorce cake? And she's like, yeah. And I didn't have like plans for anything. And I was like, could you put the screenshots of the sex messages on it? Because that was like the most traumatic thing. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, could you put a limp dick over the side? And she's like, I've never wanted anything more than to do this.
Okay, wait, hold on. So there's a discrepancy in the stories. So
right. Well, I mean, I think like probably the real answer, I think, is like he might be bipolar. So when he's manic, he's like fucking everything that moves, and when he's depressed, he can't get it up. But also, he hated me.
Oh,
so
no, not that, not that. Chelsea,
Oh.
Chelsea said that you said you wanted the words limp dick.
No, I just wanted the limp dick, and then
Okay.
she said she added the words because it would just be like funny to say it.
Yeah,
So
she did
she
say
brought
she
her
loves
own-
the words. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so she added the words. But I didn't give her, I was just like, I've seen Chelsea's cakes. Like, she can do whatever she wants with this. And my therapist was like, this is a very bad idea. He's like, this is going to be like re-traumatizing. Like, this, you can't do this. And I'm like, I just need it to happen. And I'm like, I might just need to put it in a corner. I might just cry until 3 a.m., like eating a cake by myself. Like, I don't know, but I just need this cake to be made. And I was on the fence about having a party. It was like also my birthday. And I just like I don't know, it was like a very chaotic time. And I went to pick the cake up from Chelsea, and it was just the best cake I've ever seen. Wait, I think I can put it as my background, a virtual background. I don't know, it might be too.
So this was for your birthday?
It ended up being like my birthday party and my divorce party.
Okay, all right.
So it's like backwards there, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And, kind of last minute, I started telling people like, I think I'm gonna have a divorce party, come on over. And I was like, I don't even know if anyone's gonna show up, I'll just eat this cake, it'll be all right. This party was like the most insane party I've ever contemplated. Like, I couldn't even get through my own apartment. I see pictures of it and I'm like, I didn't even know those people were there. everybody comes out for a divorce party. If you want people to show up, because my birthday's in December, it's right before Christmas. Usually nobody's around. I had friends Uber from Palo Alto. They're like, we can't miss a divorce party. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a divorce anniversary party every year. So the cake is there, and I had performed at the wedding of a ballerina and chef, like right before this, and the chef happened to be my ex's favorite, like the founder of his favorite restaurants. And so all these like ballerinas came to my party, and they started posting pictures of the cake, but they all have like big social media followings, like I don't. And then it went viral from Chelsea's page. Like it was getting sent everywhere. And so very quickly, I think within a day, I got back to my ex, and I started posting a clip of my set, like on any page where it had a lot of like likes or hits or whatever. So my ex and I met in law school. We worked at really similar law firms. We were like, all my old friends from my old life were lawyers, but I don't talk to them anymore. And it got sent around very quickly. So they all found out what he did, and they all saw this cake, and that's how a lot of people found out about the divorce.
So that's amazing.
And I was like, you can't plan that. Like nobody's like, oh, I'm just gonna have a divorce cake that goes viral, and then people are gonna see my set about it. But it just happened that way.
Yeah, it sounds like a Jewish fever dream. Like it sounds like a fever dream from Fiddler on the Roof. Like, oh, I had a divorce and there was a cake and a dick on it, and ballerinas took pictures, and then everybody knew.
It was just like, and it was just like the funniest comedy. It was like comics, like some of my, like my friends from, whatever, like some of my friends from law school or whatever. It's like comics, ballerinas, and then whoever like those people brought, and everyone's like, this is the most random group of people. And I'm like, this is great. This is so much better than my married life. Like I have fun now.
Right on. I never had a divorce party. I should probably
You gotta get on it. It's
look
a good
into
time.
that. Yeah. Okay, so you cut the cake, and I heard that was really cathartic.
Yeah, so I mean, I hadn't, it just started to melt. Like it'd been out all night, so I was like, I guess we gotta cut it. And I just grabbed this knife, and if you just chop this cake down the middle, then you cut the dick off, and people get real excited. So it was like, and people filmed it, but I hadn't planned to make a thing of it. It just all happened. Like, I was just drunk, was like, better cut this cake, and that ended up being like very visual. So I posted it publicly on Instagram.
And your therapist thought this was a bad idea for, I don't know.
Well, yeah, my
I don't know
therapist
why.
thought the cake would be traumatic, but my therapist did not know how skilled Chelsea is at making cakes. So,
Right. Still your therapist?
No.
I can see why,
Like,
because like that was the wrong call. I would have been like, girl, make the cake. Get the cake. And
Yeah, he was a little worried. It'd been a really rough year. He's like, I don't know if you need to be looking at this anymore, but no, I knew I needed to do it. It was good.
I'm glad you did. Okay,
Yeah.
so that Zoom background that you had up was the cake, but you've
Yeah.
also had different Zoom backgrounds lately.
Let's see. Sometimes in quarantine, I
Mhm.
go to Hawaii with my ex and his girlfriend, and we just all hang out together. I get a tropical drink sometimes. So that's good. This is his new girlfriend. This is not the comedy club or the sexting girlfriend.
Oh.
He appears to be doing better on the dating front than I am, but I guess I am doing better on the cake front.
So
Sometimes it gets super sensual, and I get all hot and bothered with them. It's a good time.
yeah.
I don't know why it makes me so happy to do this, but I do it every night on Zoom calls.
Everybody has to process a divorce differently, and I never knew how I would feel about it, and I still don't actually. I actually wish I was enjoying mine as much as you're enjoying yours.
They're not enjoyable. They're awful.
They're awful, and so I didn't want to. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not loving it, but
Yeah, I just at least a few things kind of came together that I felt like I needed, but I've been a real hot mess.
oh, I mean, you're talking to the hot mess princess, so
Yeah, it's really rough.
it's
I don't feel
yeah.
like people get it. I never understood how bad it was. It happened, and it took me like I remember like 2 months in, I was like, how come I don't feel normal? And everyone's like, because you haven't even, like, you're in a state of shock. Like, you haven't even processed this yet.
Yeah. So
Really a big
is he a lawyer?
Yeah.
And are you?
Yeah, but I don't practice anymore. So I do recruiting for lawyers now.
Okay, so 2 lawyers divorcing, was that complicated at all?
Not really. I mean, it was like much more the emotional like chaos involved, but we got it done within a year. So
Oh, right on. My ex is a
Yeah.
lawyer too, so I've been there.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask this question. I have a great reverence for what you've done with your divorce. You have decimated the image of a person that I don't even need to meet. If I did, I would just laugh at him. Does that make it harder to date going forward?
I mean, I think it would have to be someone with pretty thick skin to. I mean, all you have to do is look at my Instagram page, and it's like, 1, you can be like, whoa, she went through a lot recently, and 2, like, oh, she puts it out there. Like, I don't, and I'm not gonna not put it out there, but I think if you're gonna date me anyway, like if you're gonna date a comic, or like I put a lot of personal stuff on stage, you have to be kind of ready for it. I shouldn't be with a wimpy guy, and a lot of guys in San Francisco are wimpy, so I kind of am like, good, if you get scared away, then that's
Okay.
it. Because like what can you do? It has to be out there. Like I'm not gonna like pretend I'm really different to date someone.
Right. No, I don't think that should happen. I'm really personal notes for myself, like using your divorce as a starting point for art. Like I think that's awesome, but I was just wondering, I was thinking ahead, not that dating is easy for me ever. But like, what does that mean for the next person you date? Are they going to be like, "Oh, you know what? I don't want to be on a cake."
Yeah, and it's like, well, maybe don't be emotionally abusive to me. That's a good starting point, but
Yeah, that's a good starting point. So you mentioned, did you mention, I swear you mentioned Tinder, or maybe I was looking ahead in my notes.
mention what?
Tinder?
Oh, yeah, I think we talked about it in our notes. So I mean, I don't know if you're doing online dating, but I'd never done it before because I'd been with my ex for so long. It didn't exist. And it's crazy out there. Like I have these weird, I mean, I've had just a lot of bad dates, but also I had this weird run, like in the week leading up to when I was hosting at Cobb's. I don't put on my profile that I'm a comic. Guys just messaging me and telling me all about comedy, or like how comedy works, or like how to get work at a comedy club, like just these really random and weird messages. And so I'll just keep messaging with them, like asking for advice or whatever to see what they keep doing.
So guys that aren't comics are messaging you with advice on how to be a comic.
Yeah. And I think I think a lot of guys out there will just be like, oh, comedy's cool, and I can tell girls about it and seem cool because they don't know anything about it. And they don't know anything about it either. So, but they don't know I'm a comic, and they don't like ever think to be like, oh, she might actually know about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think my favorite that I've seen you post is there was a guy, and you played along, and he was like, oh,
Yeah.
you should try comedy one day, and you were like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can. And it was the week you were hosting at Cobb's.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna work at Cobb's this week. He's like, the hosts aren't any good, blah blah blah, and it was like, I wasn't even like, he's like, oh, I live near like a big comedy club, and I'm like, oh, like Cobb's, who have you seen there? To be like, have you seen my friends? And he told me he'd seen Nikki Glazer, and I was like, oh, my friend opened for her. He's like, oh, the hosts are terrible. Like, he obviously didn't see my friend's set. And I was just trying to get him to say that, like, my friend was good or whatever. And he just starts going on and on about how it's hard to get good work as hosts, and the club films it. Like, he just starts telling me all this stuff that makes no sense. He's like, there's a recording of it because the host does the recording and the club films it. And just all this shit that was, just wrong. And so, it was so obnoxious. So I just kept playing along. And I even sent an email to the booker, like a fake email pretending like, oh, hey, I want to get booked. And he wrote back, like, playing along. And I was trying to get the guy to ask for a set that weekend, but he wouldn't do it. But yeah, I just couldn't stop doing it.
No,
These people are
I don't think you
stupid.
should have. I love how devious it all that you emailed the booker to ask if you could host the weekend you were already hosting, and then you sent it back to the guy and you were like, "Look, it was that easy. I'm hosting."
I'm like, hey, I can give you free tickets.
Did he show up?
He came to one of the shows
Oh.
and he came up to me and just like really awkwardly was like, hey, good job. And I was like, I think that's that guy, but he didn't introduce himself or anything. And I was like, he had sent me so many weird messages. I didn't want to talk to him. Like, there's just so many weirdos out there. Then he messaged me and said he'd gone to the show and then it was like, good. And then was like, hey, we should get brunch. And I'm like, I don't want to go on a date.
Good choice.
not into
I'm gonna
this.
say that once again. That's a streak of good choices by you.
I make a lot of bad choices, but even every once in a while, even I can make a good decision.
Yeah, it seems like the good ones are the important ones. So good job. Something else I've noticed on your social media is you're not a drag queen, but you have fluorescent makeup. Tell me about the fluorescent makeup.
I do. Well, just since I love like bright colors and loud clothes. Oh, I'm so hungover. I forgot to wear it. Actually, I meant to, but
Oh, that's okay.
I've been drinking a lot in quarantine. So
It's Mother's Day. That's a day where you're supposed to
I
drink.
have cats and I got to drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just was like, well, I'm locked up here all the time. I may as well wear the loudest stuff I want, which I would not leave the house in. And so I had some like glitter from New Orleans, and I bought like pink glitter and body glitter and glitter pink lipstick, and then I bought all these like glitter eyeliners. And I'm like, I feel like a crazy person, but I'm like, I don't have anywhere to go, and everything kind of sucks living alone in quarantine. And so I just put on a lot of loud makeup and walk around my apartment by myself sometimes.
Do you take pictures of the loud makeup?
Not usually. It's a little out of control, but I'll get on like Zooms or like, I mean,
Yeah.
I went to a backyard birthday party. Like these people had a backyard big enough that we could sit far away. And it was a girl's 40th birthday, and everybody's like, Liz, are you wearing glitter? I'm like, I sure am, all over me.
You know,
I'm like, I get to see people. It's festive.
yeah, I obviously have a real mom, but I also have a drag mom and drag aunts, and they all say more glitter, Suzette, wear more glitter. So you're right on. They would say you're doing well. Okay, so I want to ask you a little bit about being a comic, if you have a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Cool. So you are a comic. What's it like, in a nutshell?
Well, it's really weird right now because you go from doing it every night to not at all. So it's been a big change, I guess. But I never even really thought I'd keep doing it. I was like, I don't know. I wasn't one of those people who started and was like, I'm gonna do this. I was like, I'm not gonna do this. Like this is like, it's just weird, and I don't know. It just took me a long time to get into it. And then one day I just couldn't stop doing shows, and I was like, I guess I do this.
You go on the road a lot.
I got divorced and was like, thank God I have this.
Oh yeah. Seriously. That was something I noticed in my divorce. I was like, oh, I guess I better keep doing this thing that keeps me being a person and social with other people, because otherwise I don't have anything.
It was like the only way I could like process it. So.
Right. You go on the road as a comic. Not all comics do. What's that like?
I just really love going like weird, random places. I like different audiences, seeing how like, I don't always just want to be in San Francisco. San Francisco audiences can be a lot of the same small type of like same narrow kind of audiences over and over. So I like to go anywhere where I can get a different kind of audience. And then it ends up being fun. You meet other comics, and it's just a different experience. Like I just like how random it can get. And I go places where and meet people I never would have gone otherwise, or if I just stayed in San Francisco, I wouldn't get to do.
How long have you been a comic? Like, how long have you been doing comedy?
Oh my God, I feel like I've been doing it on and off for 100 years. I don't even know. Let's see. I mean, I started doing, I like dabbled in it when I was working at a law firm. But I just did like a couple open mics, and then probably like the end of 2013, I got back into it, and I knew I was down in San Jose for work, and I knew a comic down there running an open mic, so I went to her open mic, and I would just like go to her open mic when I was there for work meetings for a while, and then I just kept ending up doing more and more until I just was like, oh, I just do this all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a similarity I noticed between comedy and being a litigator. So I don't know what kind of law you were wanting to do when you went to law school, or if you wanted to, but I think it kind of fills some of the
one of the reasons I stopped practicing law is like at least where I was working, I was representing big companies, and it is actually just so risk averse. Like if you're a criminal lawyer, it's like much more in the moment, and you just kind of have to do what you can in the circumstances. I did litigation and represented big companies, so everything was really risk averse. And even if you're in a hearing, like most of those cases don't go to trial, and most of it is like paperwork, and it was just boring. I mean, my friends who do criminal law like get to do a lot more. It's a lot faster paced. But that wasn't what I was doing.
It sounds like you were in complex civil litigation.
Yeah, and I just got bored.
Yeah, that's not a fun practice area.
Yeah, the pace could be fun and like deadlines, like in the excitement of it, but it wasn't really that interesting.
So back to sorry, I get sidetracked by the law pretty easily. Back to comedy. What are some difficulties that you didn't expect?
They always change. There's always something that's really difficult. And it just varies. Like, I think most new women have issues with like creepy people kind of target new female comics. So that's less of an issue now, but it's because I'm like not as new. So that was something I didn't realize.
So you were talking about like other comics being creepy, not
comics, audience members, like
right.
Just it's like you're kind of a target when you first start. You don't have like your
fresh meat.
Yeah, and you have to so you have to kind of get used to that. So that was hard because I was coming from a really professional environment, which is not like it wasn't sexist, but it was people at least knew you can't say this or you can't do that.
It's like Mad Men.
Yeah,
like sexist. Like it's like sit down, wear a skirt, and have a drink, and then you were in comedy, and people were like probably more crude.
Yeah. And I'm like usually traveling by myself. It's not, so but it always like changes, and then you have times where it's like every show I'm doing I know everyone and it's great, and I feel like I'm at home and I might just have an issue with like how I'm writing or connecting with the audience, or like I get you get stuck in different places. But I feel like there's no time where you're like, oh, it's just all going great. Like there's always something that's hard. It just changes. It's a moving target. You can't ever like, feel like you just got it.
Is there anything that you expected that was exactly what it was when you got into comedy?
No, I didn't even expect I would keep doing it. I did not expect like any of it. I didn't even know I had like a creative side to me. I have no idea.
Oh, right on.
I don't think I had any expectations because I never planned on like continuing it. I was just kind of like, okay, I guess I'll try it,
What's your favorite thing about being a stand-up comic?
I really love the whole process. Like it doesn't get easier. There's always more writing to do. There's always more stuff. For me, my material is personal, so it gets stale. So I have to keep doing new stuff. I don't ever feel settled. So like the process for me is very painful, but I think it's also like very satisfying.
Right on. I just have one viewer question. It is from Taryn in Sacramento. She wants to know, why were you with Limp Dick so long? Is your toy collection that good?
No, I ask myself the same thing every day, but I think if you're in a really bad relationship, it seeps in over time, and it turned awful. Like it was a horrible relationship by the end. A lot of like really bad stuff happened, but I did have some points where I was like, I should leave. And there were a number of times this is like kind of heavy, but there were times where I was like, if you're not attracted to me, I should leave. And he was like, I'd have no reason to live. And I didn't know I was just being manipulated. I thought like, oh, I'm misreading this. He loves me, but he was just manipulating me by kind of implying he would kill himself. Probably not the answer you were expecting.
No, that's okay.
and
Sometimes
yeah,
you
so
ask
I
questions
think
and get answers.
it seeps in over time. Like, you don't know you're in something really bad. And then there was a while where a lot of really bad stuff happened, and I was like, I could leave and I'd have a good reason to leave, or I could stay knowing it might be over. And I basically decided to stay because I was like, I have a long history with this person, and I thought they were a good person when I met them, and I feel like I should give it a chance. And that was the wrong choice for sure. But
And you said you met up. This is just kind of my follow-up. You said you met up after the cake went viral. Are you guys talking now? Are you friends?
Oh no, we didn't meet up. It just got
Oh.
sent to him. No,
Oh,
I haven't
okay,
blocked.
okay.
I haven't blocked on everything. We are not on good terms.
Well, that's good. It was a quick divorce then.
Yeah,
And
no,
you could get to that
we're
point
not.
quickly. Okay, so I have rapid fire questions. And by
Okay.
the way, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it and really enjoy talking to you. So if you ever want to come back, let me know.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, rapid fire questions.
Right.
What is your favorite thing about the concept of brunch?
Just the food. I hate having low blood sugar.
Okay. When you put on a bra, do you put it on like and clasp it in front and spin it, or do you
Yeah.
trap it in back? Front and spin. Yeah, that's a popular answer. How high is too high for high heels?
Ooh, I just need a little bit of a platform because I have flat feet, so I can't. I love high heels, but for me to be able to like walk comfortably, I can't go too crazy, but I like at least a little bit of a heel. But I love looking at like super high heels. I wish I had the feet for them.
So what's the highest you'll wear?
I don't know. I mostly have like boots with a platform is
Okay.
a lot of what I have, and then my heels are maybe like, I don't know, a few inches.
Okay. What is your walk-up song?
Oh, it varies depending on what's going. It varies. I kind of sometimes depends on like what is like popular, what my mood is. Something kind of fun to dance to, but I mix it up.
If you were doing a show tonight, if the quarantine was lifted and you got booked tonight, and just so the audience, because I don't know if the audience knows, a walk-up song is the song the comic comes out to.
Oh my God. I've been listening to so much ridiculous music. I mean, I would probably do Prince right now. That's really happy. Prince song.
It's a good choice. What's your
Yes.
favorite? Do you have a favorite show to perform in?
No, I just like a big mix.
Right
Like,
on.
I'm not like, oh, I only do like I like a really terrible bar show in the middle of nowhere. I'm on board with that. Yeah, I like anything.
Do you? Okay, so I feel like you might have just answered. Do you have a favorite venue to perform in?
I mean, I do love the Punchline in San Francisco, but I also love all kinds of weird places.
Right on. Same. Shout out to Punchline San Francisco and all the people that work there. Funniest thing an audience member. Oh man, I didn't think about asking a woman comic this, but what is the funniest thing? Because Chelsea's answer was wild. So
Anything an audience member said to me?
ever said to you after a show? Yeah.
I've had multiple people come up to me after I hosted like a weekend at the Punchline. This happened to me in Punchline in San Francisco and Sacramento, and go, "Oh my God, you're so funny. How come they don't let you do comedy?" And I'm like, I just did 15 minutes of comedy.
I relate so hard to that. Yeah,
And I'm like,
I host shows. I do my own show and I host my own show, and people come up afterward and they're like, "Oh yeah, maybe one day you could be a comic too." And I'm like, "What? Do you remember that? Like
you know what?
that
I
10
didn't realize I'm running a little late. I have to actually jump on another Zoom in a bit. Like I have maybe like another minute or two, but
Okay, cool. Let's get to the end. What are you looking forward to most when all this is over?
oh my God, seeing people, I'm so lonely.
Yeah, quarantining alone is a whole
I just want
different.
to see a lot of people.
It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll let you go because I don't want to hold you from being on the other show. But thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you
And
so much. This
happy
is great.
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Bye.
Bye. Okay, guys, that was the show. Also, shout out to everyone that works at Punchline Sacramento. That's my home club. And, oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. I don't think about him as a person. But we do have one more contributor for the show. David Shapiro. Whenever he's ready, Jesse, let me know. Okay, let's see if his connection is ready. David, are you there?
Hi. Yeah, I'm just giving it a second.
Oh, hi.
Make
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
What's up with the beard? The CDC said you need to shave the beard.
Oh,
what are you
no.
doing?
This is not a beard. This is just scruff. This is just my scruff.
That's not scruff, hon.
Yeah, scruff.
No, that's not.
I don't know what stubble, scruff. What do you?
Well, I just
you talking
figured
about?
that you would know what scruff was, and that's not this. This is scruff, baby.
I don't know what that app is.
That's-
I'm not
really?
familiar with it. This is just
Sure.
This
Sure.
is just this. I call it scruff. This is stubble. I guess it's a lot more than stubble. Like it's
Okay. Well, we don't need.
It's
to
not a
talk
beard
about,
though.
Yeah, we
It's
don't
not.
need to talk about your facial hair. Why don't you?
I don't
like
know.
shaving, though?
I don't like the way I look when I'm clean shaven. Like I think I look like an idiot.
I don't think you.
No,
look
I
like an
do.
idiot
I look
clean
like
shaven.
a stupid idiot
No,
when
No,
I'm
you
clean
don't.
shaven. Like
I think you look
a
fine.
weird idiot.
Oh.
Yeah, clean
okay,
shaven.
well.
Me? No, you don't want that.
All right. Well, I think you look nice.
Okay,
What are we
so
doing today?
I got some messages from people on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and people have talked to me after they've watched the show and our interactions, and they've said they've asked like, why don't you and Suzette like each other? Why do you
'Cause
guys
you're
hate each
terrible.
other? Why does she say mean thing to you after mean thing to you after mean thing to you?
It's funny.
So I thought we could take turns this segment, like saying compliments to each other.
Oh, I don't know if I can.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
already
if I can do
failed.
that.
I win, but let's go ahead and do this anyway,
Fine.
and we'll say nice things about each other.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you.
I can
you
go
have
first.
to go
Yeah,
first.
I wrote stuff down. Suzette, you have pretty successful shows, and people seem to like you. And a lot of people say it's because you're lucky and that you book awesome talent. But I think you're not the worst.
I mean, you
Yeah.
said I have successful shows, so that's a compliment.
You have successful shows. I mean, that's the part I led with, right?
Yeah. That's
Okay,
a
you
good,
try.
Good part to.
You try.
Okay. Crap. I don't know if I could be successful without.
That's
your
really
help.
nice. That's really nice of you to say. Yeah.
Yeah. I need.
Okay.
I need your help.
I mean,
Now your
okay.
turn.
Say
nice
I
things.
think you look really pretty. Let me fix. Okay, there we go. I think you look really pretty in your dresses. In
you.
fact, I think you're prettier than my ex-wife.
Oh yeah. You're divorced too.
Oh,
Yeah. Liz
No,
Liz Stone was on the show.
she
and
is.
she talked
It
about
was
divorce.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
I don't think we should. Do
you wanna talk
our
about
exes,
exes?
though. I think let's stay away from our exes.
You don't want to talk. Okay. Because maybe we
Let's
can
not.
get lessons.
Let's not go there.
I
Yeah.
kind of want to ask Liz how to do it better.
We'll leave it to Liz. She is good at it.
Yeah. So this is our segment.
I might call her, ask for tips. Yeah.
Okay. So is this our segment now? Just saying nice things because it's not really.
No,
working?
I don't think it's great. I'm gonna try to figure something else out. But again, you can try to figure something else out. We can work on this together and really find the right segment for us. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe
cool.
I'll try.
Well, have a good
Oh.
have a good night and a good
Okay.
week, and stay safe. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Bye. That was short. He didn't even wish his mother a happy Mother's Day. Luckily, I've met her, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say, "Hey, Jan Shapiro, David meant to say Happy Mother's Day, and he sucks." But that was the show. I'm not forgetting anything else, am I? Okay, cool. That was the show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight and watching our show. And next week we have a drag queen from New York, Virginia Thick, and we're actually going to spend some time interviewing Mean Dave. So if you want to tune back in next week on May 17th around 7 o'clock, Virginia Thick and Mean Dave, and we'll have some contributions by Chelsea and a couple of other contributors. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you, Stab Comedy Theater. Make sure you hit that Venmo too if you can. And thank you, Jesse, as always, and have a good week. Be safe.